Hello, guys and gals. This is the algorithm rabbit hole. Shout out to the recent subscribers. I see y'all. Today, I'm back down the rabbit hole looking at the recent goings-ons with Carbonation. The reason I got sucked in is because I was recommended this video where they were interviewing the former chiefess, Nana G, aka Velvet Marquez. Now, if you aren't familiar with Carbonation, I'll break it down real quick and then I'll talk about this video. So a man from NYC named Eligio Bishop set out some years ago to live in nature. I was first introduced to him via YouTube when he was living in someone's house on their couch in Georgia, planning to leave the States. He documented pretty much everything, and at some point he started to not only gain followers, but members actually left their lives in the States to move around the world with him and live off the earth. Now, at first I was intrigued. Not something I could do, but it was cool seeing that these folks were doing their thing off the grid. At some point, in order to live, they needed to collect donations. They would do this through their live streams, cash apps, and the new members would have to come with a bounty to share with the tribe. Eligio became their god, and they called him Baba G. He took Velvet as his wife and made her chiefess. They also ended up having a daughter together. Gorgeous little girl, might I add. He was not monogamous because he would cycle the other women in and out of their bed. What they probably didn't know about him at the time is that he was not mentally stable. From what I can tell, these members weren't wrapped too tight either, so maybe it didn't bother them. Members would come and go, and some would come and go multiple times. Velvet and a woman named Natureboys both did this a few times. I have to confess, I did periodically check up on them to see what the latest happenings were, but at some point, things started getting really weird.
Moving what?
3.
All right, so why you move by yourself?
Because I told them.
Lying, and you look that way to do it.
I never heard you guys.
Bro, everybody's...
I couldn't watch that and then go on about my day, so I stopped watching them. But they went from vegans who didn't drink or smoke to polygamous weed heads passing around venereal diseases, sipping on Hennessy, and enjoying a fine cut of steak. They would have what they called real ninja moments, where they go live and air out their grievances. As a result of one of these, Baba G live streamed a brawl that appeared to be set up by him between two of his wives, Nana and Malia. This kind of set off a downward spiral. I mean, this was like a real-life soap opera. Telenovela had nothing on Carbonation. Eligio was known to use scare tactics so members wouldn't leave. He would keep their documents, take their money, make them do horrendous things online, and it's been said that members also experienced physical violence from him. The way he talked to them was so degrading, the men and the women. I know that's not illegal, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth. His former girlfriend from what they call Babylon, which is here in the States, came out to share her story with Bishop. That did not stop people from joining or cause a major decline in membership very much at all. I mean, these people gave very much brainwashed. He would even say that this was his goal when he did his lives. He wanted to wash their brains and give them the knowledge. It was kind of sick. The men that were there couldn't even choose women. He would arrange relationships and circle the women around to the guys. If he wanted one of those women at a certain point, he'd take the woman for himself. Real David Koresh, Branch Davidians, Mark Carmel vibes. One of his soldiers was named Solar. He had been arranged with a few of the women and had one pregnant at one point. She ended up having a late-term miscarriage, but there was a lot of mystery around the whole thing. She was like 8 to 9 months pregnant when this happened. They would be on live streams for hours and standing up, and they would be hiking, barely eating. So a lot of people speculated there was a flag on the play with that one. Now, Velvet finally left Carbonation for good at some point. Malia ended up being hospitalized later on for some reason.
Always overthinking. I'm always in a mood. I'm always.
And we constantly asking you, Malia, do you sure you don't want to leave? Because it might be too hard for you.
I don't understand why leave, because there's nothing out there.
He was like the king of gaslighting. It was their inner demons. Had nothing to do with him. Remaining members kept dwindling, and Baba G was left with some loyals like Malia, Efru, Aya, True, Solar, and a few others. They were back in the States living in a house in Atlanta. Naturi was there too. Now, Naturi was also in and out. By the time Baba G was going by the name of Three God and Carbonation looked more like a brothel and he looked more like a pimp than anything righteous, he was having members discipline each other on command and he was capturing it on camera. Now, if this was stuff he put online, you can only imagine what was going on behind closed doors. Naturi one day was just gone. Not long after, Eligio was arrested at his place in Atlanta and hit with a gang of charges.
Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy, remains behind bars tonight, facing charges that include rape.
Well, now that he's sitting in jail, the flock and former flock are cutting up. Naturi has always had a thing for Solar and came back to Carbonation a few times to be with him. I never got the sense that the feeling was mutual on his end. They got together after Carbonation fell long enough for him to get her pregnant. Then here's the kicker. After knowing this, Solar and Velvet, Nana, linked up and she is now pregnant by him. As the Carbonation turns, Velvet had another daughter like a year ago by a mystery man and now she's pregnant again. This stuff can't be any more crazy. I actually was so happy for her and the others for getting out of there and was wishing them well, but I see that well wishes won't do the trick. I think all former members should be seeking some type of therapy. They seriously need it. They were conditioned for drama and will bring that to anything new if they don't work their own stuff out. I see comments that show that people think Velvet was just as bad as Eligio, and that might be true, but she has 2 daughters in her care, which makes her mental state so much more vital. Solar, who some call Sassy Solar, is always in mess. He was last linked to being involved in some way with Jaguar Wright, who was just in a mental institution. It's no shame in needing help, and they all need it. Now, in this video that Velvet did, she pretty much explained her experience in Carbonation, and she revealed her pregnancy, and she talked about how her and Solar were so in tune and all this. She didn't really take any accountability for some of the things that she was involved in. She kind of said that Nature Boy was forcing her to do all this. I don't know. What do y'all think about this whole Carbonation debacle? Put it in the comments and let me know. Well, that's all I have for you on this. But if you like this content and would like to see more, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys and gals, y'all be safe and have a wonderful day.